So I'm delighted to have on the channel Matthieu Verdier, co-designer of In the Steps of Darwin, nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, and also co-owner of Sorry, We're French, Je suis désolé, je suis French, or something. I'm here, my French is amazing, to talk about In the Steps of Darwin. So, to begin, Matthieu, can you tell us something about your publishing company and how did you come up with such a unique name?
To clarify, I'm not one of the founders. I'm just an employee, but I'm the first one, so it's like
Okay,
a long.
so
It's fine. It's
not
okay.
much difference.
Yeah, I don't want to be fired for that. Kidding. Yeah, it was founded in back in 2017 by my boss, Emmanuel Beltrando. He's a veteran of the board game industry. He has been working there for decades. He used to work for Wizard of the Coast, the Magic publisher, Asmodee. Then he founded Moonster Games. It was his former company, and he was one of the first Europeans to go to Asia, searching for board games, especially Japan. And the story about behind the name is Emmanuel told me he was at a barbecue with his friend publishers, and one of them is Adrien Martineau. He works for Days of Wonder, and they were joking about company names and names like that. And Adrien said, "Oh, sorry, we're French." And Emmanuel, they were joking a lot, and Emmanuel said, "Oh, it's fun. Can I use that name, please?" And of course, Adrien said yes. So, and history is the rest. So it's a real company now.
And just for the listeners, what are some of the games Sorry We're French have published?
The first one is Ganymede. It's like a Splendor like games, but a bit heavier, but not a lot. We published Iki, the new version of Iki recently, which was nominated last year. We also published Zanguo for Marco Canetta and Stefania Nicolini, which also is a new edition. And also Gozu X, which is a card game for Magic players, etc. It's because Gozu was published by Emmanuel years ago with former company, so we like to refine games. The Darwin game, of course. This year there will be a Marie Curie game in the same series, and we this year we will also publish a game by Nestore Mangone and Fabio Lopiano. It's a Euro game called Shackleton Base. So that's okay. A summary of what we did.
So, In the Steps of Darwin has been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. Big deal. And you co-designed it. What is your knowledge of evolution and evolutionary science?
Almost none, nothing particular. It's not because I'm not a researcher of evolutionary science. But it's just the basics I learned at school. Um, when sometimes you are reading an article about that or watch a documentary because I like to do that. And I studied history at university. Maybe I consider it made me curious about all things because that's the main thing about history. You need to know a lot of subjects. And but when I started to work on the game on both sides, because as you said, I'm a designer and also I work for the publisher, I started to read a lot and watch documentaries about Darwin because I wanted to be in the subject a lot. And I also downloaded on the Origin of Species, but it was so boring to read. It's not. It was less fun than reading the Silmarillion, you know. And but I love that book. But yeah, it's none from none, but it's like when you're working on something, you need to get interest in it.
And so tell us then, how did the idea for the game come up?
Oh, let's go back 3 years ago, June of 2021, with Gregory, the other designer. We tried for years to design game together, but it was always one of us who brought on already designed prototype, and the alchemy didn't work out. So we decided to change things, work another way, and let's make a bill of specification and about what we would like to do and spend time together during one weekend so the alchemy we can connect, and we both prefer being together. Sometimes designer prefer sending emails and work remote, but for the first spark, to me it's better. But I feel better when we are in the same area and we create things like that. And so the bill was doing a family game, I usually play Euro games. I design another game called Federation. Uh, we published Iki or Zangwo, but we wanted a quick return on happiness, uh, of happiness on investment. Because when you design a heavy game, it takes years to be happy, and this time you wanted to be happy earlier. So, and Gregory wanted a game with animals. So, because everyone loves animals, especially families and kids. And I wanted to mix my academic formation, which was mostly cultural, with my board game passion. So, as I am a publisher, I wanted to start a series of games about a famous scientist or artist. And my idea was to design a simple family game, of course, that could win prizes. So, but to show another point, another way of the publishing, which was towards culture and a gateway to culture. So how we can learn things with the family, because it's something that is lacking nowadays. So it's my little contribution to, hey, we are a family and we can talk about nice things and learn things while playing. So, and I also notice it has been a long time since old school family game with the components was nominated and crowned winner. But right after that, Cascadia won and Seven Wonders Architect won at Asdor, the French prize. So sometimes it was before, but by the time the game is released, it's too late. And Gregory said animals and scientists, so let's do Darwin. And we brainstorm and came up with the idea of moving a ship, which was the beagle, to take on him an animal tile and place it on your player board. That was the beginning. We didn't know how the ship would move, but we knew it was about a ship taking tiles and place the tiles on your player board. And after that, during the weekend, the magic came.
And so, just to go back on that, how did you meet Gregory to begin with?
It was um, 3 years earlier in 2018, as far as I can remember. I was demoing our first game, which is Ganymede. It Where I was at a small board game fair in Rouen. It's between my hometown, which is Le Havre, and Paris. It's in Normandy, and I was demoing the game, and we played together, and we became friends just after playing it, and he defeated me at the game. So that's what I remember. And he told me he was designing game. He was a member of designers group from Normandy. And by the time I was living in Paris, but I'm from Normandy, and we start seeing each other, going to the meetings from the designers, and we are friends before we made friends in the same time that we design board games. So it's important also to, if you want to create something, to feel well with the person.
What are the roles you took in the design, or were there no sort of defined roles between you?
Gregory is more. I like to see the designers in different profiles, and but that's why co-designing is important, because the sum of the is bigger than the parts. Uh, Gregory is more creative profiles. He has always nice ideas. He's the spark of everything. He brings the first idea or original ones, and he never runs short of ideas. So it's always good. And I'm more into the developer profiles. I can project in the future, and also as I am a publisher, I can also think in my head what could be the game or even the product. And I like also create the files and tweak a lot, make the prototypes, which can be boring for a creative profile, but I like to. It's more like the obsessed profile, Um, of course, it's not 0% and 100%, but you're always in between. But if you can have your complement,
Yeah.
it's perfect. So, and I like to have a vision about the game. Sometimes I'm like the first spark, but it's not very precise. I talk to a friend, a designer, and I say, "Oh, I would like to do a game like this. We like that about that subject. I don't know how it is, how it's gonna be, because that person will do better than me after. It's just, oh, I think that could be interesting, but I don't know how to be precise about it, but the other designer is better at that. So, and it's kind of ping pong, uh, and you can remember on what the others say. So that's what makes the code designing great.
And so within the steps of Darwin, did you know that it was really good?
Yeah, it's yeah. If I say yes, it can be
Oh, please, please,
no,
boast. You can boast here, it's
no.
fine.
It just you play it and you're happy when you play it. That's because in one weekend everything worked. Actually, we knew how we do our tableau of tiles, but we didn't have the mechanic to take the tiles. Everything was made, but and it took us 48 hours trying many systems we didn't know, but we knew about the end of the process, but not how to get the tile. So, and it was on the Sunday evening. It was something like 10 p.m. and we were moving stuff and didn't know. And Gregory had that idea of moving the ship and taking, depending on the tide we took. And yeah, it worked. And I had to leave on the Monday at 7 a.m. So it was kind of the rush situation, and everything came up. And yes, we knew also because of the first playtesters, which are the friends of families. We usually say they are not the best people for feedback, but for a family game, it's different, and they are used to prototypes now. So
Hmm.
it's not especially first timers. We could see in their eyes they were having fun, yeah, and this is how you can see because you don't have the you cannot judge your own job, so you need the others, and when you see the behavior of the players and after that of your colleagues, it becomes viral. They wanted to play the game all the time and give ideas, and they were enjoying, and they were very uh, positive about it. So this is how it's not. Oh, after 2 days of work, oh yeah, we are the best. No, it's not. It depends on the others' behavior, of course.
And so we've been talking now for over 10 minutes. And we've not actually really spoken about the game
Sure.
particularly. So can you give us an overview of the game?
Yeah, this is a family set collection with a rondel mechanic, um, in which we play the role of naturalist who helps Charles Darwin to finish his book, and that's why he sends us in the world, traveling in the world, and visits the continent he didn't, so we can have more information about animals. And there is a main board. On that main board, there is a 3 by 3 grid filled with animal types, and there is a beagle meeple, the sheep. And when comes your turn, you must choose one of the tiles facing the beagle, so one of the three. You take the tile and you place it on your player board, which is a notebook, and it's a 4 by 4 grid. Each column represents a continent, Africa, America, etc., and each row represents a type of animal, a mammal, a bird, insect, or reptile. And if let's say I take the elephant, which is Africa and mammal, I place it on the mammal Africa
Mm.
spot. And the tiles have VPs, immediate bonus, etc. And the game will reward you by completing rows and columns, and also covering the same. Let's say I have a giraffe and I place it on the elephant. It means thematically we decided to do that because thematically it means you know very well the subject. Because it's when Darwin visited the Galapagos, he learned about the birds, and he saw the I don't know the name in English, but the mouth of the birds,
The beak.
the beak, yeah. And he analyzed that depending on the islands, and that's how he started to work on the evolution theory. So when you know well the subject, which means you know animals, the mammals from Africa, for example, you are allowed to draw a theory tile, which is a chapter of the book, and it's another way to score VPs. But it was important to us to that every aspect of the game was kind of thematic. And the game ends after 12 turns, so we have 12 tiles on our player board, which is not a lot, but it's fast paced, so you can play up to players, which was important for us because most of the games are limited to four.
Hmm.
But it's so quick, you can play with five, and you always, for families with three kids or two kids and one of your cousins, it's still good. So, so it
And
was
so, what makes the game unique then?
oh, to us, or at least to me, because I'm answering the question, the experience of the game goes beyond the mechanics. It was designed to be as a gateway to culture, not only a game. We imagine the families playing together and learning things while playing. For example, a kid takes the panda tile because it's cute, but the kid can also learn the size and the weight, uh, which is indicated on the tile. But there is also an appendix, a small book in which you can learn things about the animals. So since the game is fast-paced, you can just take the appendix and read what the panda does in their life, or you can learn things about pandas, and you can just play the turn after. So to me, what makes the game unique is that we designed and published it to make it a cultural object, not just another game. It's not the most, to be honest, it's not the most original game in the world. But what makes the games great is everything around the game, including the experience between the players.
And so, did you expect to be nominated for the Spiel des Jahres?
Mm, yeah, I would seem to would say it would seem vain to, but there are moments in your life where you are sure about your choices. Everything is clear like water. Unfortunately, it's not often, but my mind in my mind it was like, should the jury understand my vision? I was sure they would nominate because it's not very common to see family games go beyond open the box, play, close the box. It's kind of this. It joins the last question, what I said a minute ago, but the game also was thought to fit at best to be nominated at the biggest prize. I'm not ashamed of that because, on the other hand, we work hard to make it a cultural object. I work as much time to make it a good design, but I searched so many things about the animal, the anecdotes, the appendix. Um, when you open the rulebook, the first two pages are not about the game. It's about Darwin's life
Hmm.
because you open it, you are into something, not into the list of components. So I wanted it to be surprising. You're opening, oh, no components. Oh, I want to wait that small two pages, and at the end I can play the game. But now I am in a mood about, okay, we are really naturalists and we will learn things about animals.
And so, where were you then when you found out that the game had been nominated?
Yeah, I work half remote and half at the office in Paris. But this day I was at the office with the entire team. We were six people, and of course the English subtitles on the video because it's in German. No one's understand German at the office, so and yeah, we were all together watching the video and hoping for the nomination. And when we saw the big recommended list of games, because there were 9 games for the Spiel des Jahres, and we thought, oh, it's gonna be difficult because it's if there are only 5 on the recommended list, you are close to make the 3. But if you are 9, it's harder. But some games were in the same category, and I think we were in the same category as harmonies and trekking through history. So it was, to me, it was one of the 3. Not so. It's kind of 50-50 in the end.
And so, how important is being nominated for an award like the Spiel des Jahres for a company like Sorry We're French?
This is important for every company, but it helps you localize your game in more countries, also sell more games in countries that have already localized it. Last year we have been nominated for Kennerspiel des Jahres for Iki,
Mm.
and it was a game of my top 10. So I wanted to republish it. I'm happy the designer was rewarded with that. So both these games have been nominated for Asdor also.
Mm.
So
Just for the viewers,
yeah,
Asdor is the Golden Ace, which is the French version of the Spiel des
yeah,
Jahres.
it's less renowned because the Spiel is much has been there for longer, but it's it's important for us. So we have been nominating in both for Iki and for Darwin. So for if I was kidding, I would say it's almost routine now. No, kidding, it's awesome each time. So and we lost all the time, so we want to win for once.
And so, are you excited about the big day, or are you nervous?
Excited because it's a way to visit Berlin. You live there, but I never went. So, I after the nomination, my first thought was after being proud, it was yeah, I will visit the city where David Bowie and Iggy Pop made great music. Cool. That was my second thought. But also, I'm excited to meet the other persons nominated for the award because Scorpion Masqué are my colleagues at Hachette and Playpunk are friends. So it's cool. And we sent messages to each other. It's a good, fair competition and wishing good luck. And we are all French speaking publishers, Belgium, Canada, and France. So we are dominating the world now. Sorry. And to me, Paolo Mori is such a legend in game design. He deserves the most. To me, I would be very happy if he won.
And so, when we make stuff and when we work in a creative industry, and what people don't talk about is that people work in a creative industry to make money. It's not just sitting in a lonely room in Montmartre starving and writing poetry. You want to make money, but also you want to be recognized
Yes.
by your industry as doing something good. How important is it for you as a designer that the industry has sort of put a stamp on your work saying this is good enough to be nominated for the biggest award?
Yeah, this is the discussion I have often with my wife. She says, "You're never happy. You're not happy when you lose, but you're already nominated." I say, "Yeah, but it's not. It's different. I want to maybe once, maybe just once, but to see what it it's it's great to be nominated, but if you win once, it's not about winning. It's just to have the recognition. I guess Leonardo DiCaprio wanted to win. He's one of the best actors, but he has been nominated for for ages. But for once, please give me one. Um, yeah, for Darwin, I became obsessed with the game, the cleanest design, the best publishing quality, the best with our partner Gigamic in France and for abroad because they handle the localization. And sometimes you just know it's going to work. But to me, the most important is to be nominated several times because the regularity is the best proof of quality. Yeah, I watch NBA a lot. I love NBA, and Michael Jordan won 6 times in 6 finals, but LeBron James won 4 times in 10 finals. So what's the biggest performance? I don't know. Where they are equal to me. That's different. So yeah,
So, just to wrap up then, you've mentioned you've been nominated for awards. Icky got nominated and it didn't win. And you've just tried to make a very good case about being nominated. And this show has been nominated for a few awards and never won. And I'd be lying to you if I said that I was fine about that. So I mean, do you really just want to win this time?
but just for one reason, which is will give me. It's a personal reason. So to be honest, it's because I have a 2 years old son. It will mean more freedom because if you win, of course you have more money. So I will have more freedom for him. One of my ultimate goals is maybe to work three days the week for the company, for example, and 2 days for him. So and being so you are more relaxed because I work a lot, so hard, but I don't want to lose the time while he's a kid. So that's why I asked to work less for Hachette. I work only 4 days now, no, not on Fridays. So yeah, I want to win, but for him actually is the ultimate motivation. The kid is our ultimate motivation after all.
So, just one more question then. For the people watching and listening to this, why should they play in the Steps of Darwin?
Difficult. Yeah, to be honest, why this one? There are many games. So if you want to have an experience with the family and a fast we designed the game to be like the first game you can buy for the families who don't know a lot about board games. That's that's if you already know board game, there are plenty of games and you know what you will like anyway. So it's more like, yeah, if you want to introduce people to board games, buy this one, and they will buy many others. Don't start with Ark Nova, but it can be another one because it's a great game.
Excellent. Well, Matthieu Verdier, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben.